Hello there. In this episode today we're going to be looking at this Garfield hand massager. So this is certainly not a customer return. This is from the 1990s. Check this out. I'll rub you the right way and it gets worse. Guaranteed to make you purr. Oh, I just can't believe somebody okayed all that. Right, okay, I think how it's supposed to work is, I haven't taken it out of the box yet. The eBay seller said that they put batteries in, the tail moves to one side to allow you to put batteries in, and he couldn't get it to work. I think the legs must do this. There's going to be a motor with a load of horrible nylon gears, and I think it's going to do this, and it's supposed to massage your head and body. I'm going to say 1990s, that it might be a bit too early to have all the gears fail. So my prediction is going to be that the motor is seized up, and all that we'll need to do is turn the motor a little bit and then it will spring to life, because I presume something like this probably hasn't been used in the last 20 years. But you make your predictions in your head now, or you can put them down in the comment section below, and then you can edit your comment to see if you were right or not. So I'm saying seized motor. Let's go over to the mat and see what's happening. Right, you have to press his nose and it takes 2 AA batteries. Ooh, it's brand new. Also have a Garfield guide to the ultimate massage. Right. Where on earth did the batteries go? What? Surely I don't have to read the instructions to put the batteries in. Oh, there we go, that pops out there. Well, this is immaculate. Classic eBay buy. So the buyer didn't read the instructions about pressing the nose, which it clearly says here. Simply press Garfield's nose to get his motors working. Ah, that's so annoying. Because believe it or not, I don't need a Garfield massager in my life. Yeah, to be fair, it does feel nice, but then the noise will drive you mad. Ah, that's annoying. Oh, and this locks, does that lock into... That locks into place there. Okay. Right, let's get another item out. Hate buying things that are working. Oh. Next up we have, ta-da, a Bosch Kettle design line. So this thing looks immaculate. It looks like it's never been used. And the fault with this one is the switch doesn't stay down. So apparently it will boil if you hold it there, but then every time you let go, it comes back up. As well as that, which I never actually knew because my fault, didn't look at the pictures properly, the base is broken as well. So that's been punched through. So obviously something's whacked it on top and it's broken right the way through. But that shouldn't affect this thing here. So let's not worry too much about that. Maybe a replacement base can be bought, or I'd never move it on to someone else, but for my own use, that could be just glued up. But I'm interested in this here. So let's put some water in it and see what it's doing. Right, I've got water in it, it's plugged in. Yeah, I can hear a slight hum. There we go. That's starting to boil. But yeah, it doesn't stay down. Excellent, well that has to be something with a kettle. So let's empty out of water, bring it over to the mat, see if we can find out what's wrong with it. Okay, so my prediction is, you're probably not interested in my prediction, but I think there's going to be a coil in here, a solenoid type thing, that when it gets energized, it creates a magnetic field and it's supposed to keep it down. And I think that has broken. So we have something rattling. Little bit of a rattle inside. We've got some screws here. Looks like we've got 2 deep set ones and then 2 ones just here. I presume all this is going to be clipped. My prediction is that it's not going to be fixable. Oh, also we've got like these are like tri-wing here. I'm going to start with these 2 and see maybe if this will take the bottom cover off. Is there anything under here? Don't think so. So I think that's going to be for the heater element, those other two. Maybe not. Let's undo the other two as well. They're big Phillips. Yeah, this bottom base won't come off without these two because there's these big plastic things. Those things there holding it in. Right, oh excellent, that came off really easy. I was expecting a fight. Brilliant. Right, okay, now we have the heating element here, which we know is working because the water that came out was already slightly hot and it was only on for a few seconds. So when we put this down, what happens? When we put this down, it energizes, hold on, it energizes these two. Can you see the black wires here? So they, not the black, sorry, the blue. Let me balance this. I want to see, they look tiny though. I just want to see, are these connected to here? Yes. And that's going through the actual element. So when we do that, it's connecting. I don't know because I can't see what's going on up here. These must be going down to here somewhere and then coming back through here via the switch. So that goes to there and that goes to there. Oh, and underneath, you can't see, but underneath, so basically this thing comes along to here, yeah? So to here, there, and then underneath that, there's the contacts for here. And then when you do this, it's forcing this down onto that. But I still don't know what makes it hold down. So basically, underneath here, yeah, that goes to here. But then when you do this, that gets pressed down, and underneath here, I can see a tiny little contact that I think is going to go to maybe these. No. Okay. I think we need to take this apart further. I'm not sure how though. How do we take you apart further? Well, I can see that this is clipped on, so should we start here and see if that uncovers anything? So it looks like there's a thermal fuse hidden in here, but I presume that's going to be working. Well, I don't quite know what this is. Obviously it's a resistor of some sort, or a fuse of some sort. Well, let's not worry about that right now. Right, so that goes in and that goes out here. There we go. Well that hasn't helped at all. Is that some overflow? It goes up to that tube here, because there's a hole here, goes right the way up to here, and I don't know what that's for. Let me just have a look at my kettle, see if it's in that one. Yes, in that one as well. I'm going to think it's something to do with like an overflow, where if you fill it too much or if it bubbles too much, it's going to go over down into... Doesn't make any sense though. Yeah, not sure. Not sure what that's for. Anyway, that hasn't actually helped me. This is all, I can't see, this is like all sealed. Can't see what holds it in place. Right, maybe I have to undo this and then this whole thing might fall down. Maybe there's screws on the other side that allows me to see what's going on, because I can't even see what's happening at the moment. But it looks like the mechanism's all just here. But I can't, because I can't see it, I can't work out what's happening. Obviously, I know I could watch a video on how a kettle works and then it will become clearer. I just want to see if I can work it out for myself. See, it's spot welded on here. And I don't think I'd have to bend those to slide those out underneath. Maybe I'd have to do that. I don't really know what's happening on top though. Is there any way I can release, this is not easy, is there any way I can release this from here? What's it pivoting on? Oh, do you know what these are for? It's a little resistor for an LED in here. That's what to stop the LED burning out. So these two are just feeding the LED, so that's not the mechanism, which makes sense because the wires are so thin. And that's just kept away from here for heat, because otherwise I suppose the resistor would just burn out. I'm learning. I wonder if there's any way I can take the plastic off, because then it would allow me to tip this off, you see. Either that, or do I break the welds here and then spot weld it up afterwards? See, it might be better to bend these together and maybe they might pop out, but I'm not sure how they're connected on the top side and I don't want to break that. Right, I can see it pivots from here. My worry is that it needs to come a long way over and I think that's going to snap before it comes out. Ooh. That did come out there, didn't it? I kind of forced it out over this bit here. Do you know what? Let me take some pictures because this will be a nightmare to put back together. Here we go. Excellent. Right, we might be able to work out what's happening now. These will bend here, but hopefully I can find out what's what. Right, okay. So that's like thermal paste against there. Are these the things that do the clicking then? Because there's thermal paste there. Let's see if we can find out what's happening. Zoom in a little bit. Did these like pop when they get, is it like some sort of bimetallic thing that pop when when they heat up? So I'm going to undo that screw, see what it uncovers. I cannot see what role they play. They got thermal paste on, they're obviously important, but this is just earth down here. So, and these are not connected to anything from what I can see. So I don't know what they're about, but I don't think that's the problem. Oh, right, okay, look at this. So when I do this, can you see what's happening? See, I said I didn't think these did anything, but look. So when I do this, these are being forced down. Yeah, so when it's on, these are being forced down onto this plate here. Yeah, and then I presume what happens is, once the heat builds up in the kettle, in here, these are like bimetallic strips and they pop. They must pop these back like that, boom. So these mustn't be making contact. I wonder if these making contact with these, because it looks like they're not quite there. So there's no coil. They're relying on like this bimetallic type. I'm calling it a bimetallic strip. I don't know. I don't know if that's what it is. But I think that these give a bit. But then I'm not sure about what this is for here. Or is this just for a feeding off a click? Because this doesn't seem to be doing anything here. This top bit here. I mean, you would think that this is the thing that makes it click into place. So maybe this isn't allowing. Maybe the bimetallic strips that I'm going to call them, maybe they're the things that pop it back up. But remember, it's not even being held down. So maybe this isn't allowing it to be held down because it's not doming. Maybe it needs to go from dome to concave, and it's not allowing that. I'm just going to see if my kettle works when it's off, if you can hold the thing down when it's off. No, you can't. Look, comes straight back up again. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Look at this. So, when it's off, yeah, it comes straight back up, yeah? Check this out. We're unplugged. Put it on here. Apologies for the mess in my kettle. On here, now look. Stays down. So do you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with the kettle. There's something on the base that makes it stay down. There's something on this that makes it stay down. Interesting. Right, so what is on this that makes it stay down? Let me see, let me empty this off water and see if I can work it out on this, and then I might be able to. So clearly, the problem with this one isn't the kettle, it's the base that's smashed up. Isn't that interesting? A lot of you knew that, didn't you? Right, how good is that? So, let's put that to one side. And now, let's see what it is on this that actually makes it stay down. Right, we got a little button here. I bet it's something to do with that. So I'm going to press that in. Yeah, there you go. Can you see I'm down now? Look. Doesn't work. But when I do that, it does work. So it's a safety thing that stops it. It needs to be fully seated before it will work. So now, but that's on the kettle. Let's have a look at the Bosch base. So there should be one of these then on the kettle. Yeah, let's have a look. Now we have got something just here. Yeah, we got a little thing just here. That must be it. There. Right, so where does that go to? Up. Thermal paste. It's everywhere. So it is actually the kettle that's broken. How does this come off? Oh, we got tabs. We got tabs just here, and it must be the other side. Yeah, tabs here and here. Right, let's take the base off and see if that clears up anything. It's going to be easier said than done because it's plastic. It's plastic, you see. I'm worried about breaking the plastic. That's really stubborn. I have to get under there to see that spring. Something must have come misaligned. Because the top part of this doesn't actually look broken. And although the whole thing's broken for it to go down, it's still gonna make... Do you know what? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's making a connection electrically with the contacts, but it's not down far enough. Yeah, that's what it is. Look, there's nothing wrong with the kettle. Can you see there? When you put it on, it's just dropping a little bit. And that's enough because this switch is very reset. If the switch was at the very bottom, then it would make a contact, but the switch is really high up in there. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the kettle. Right, I'm not going to risk breaking the kettle. I'm going to try and put it back together, and we're going to concentrate on the base. So now, if I was to push this in here, are you going to stay up? Yes, you are. Watch. Look. In. Up. How good's that? How good's that? Look. Press it in here. And it stays up. You know what? Even if I can't fix it now, even if I can't fix the base because the base isn't going to be able to be fixed really safely, but I think it'd be fine for me to use, my family. I've really enjoyed this one here because I've learned something. I never knew that kettles had that hidden little switch. So, yeah. I'm going to watch a quick YouTube video on how modern kettles work because I'd like to know what's under here. Right, I highly suggest you look up how a modern kettle works on Google or on YouTube because it is very interesting. That tube that I talked about earlier that I thought was an overflow tube isn't, it's a vapour tube. That's how the kettle knows it's boiling, and that's how it knows to turn itself off, because they don't just boil at 100 degrees Celsius. It will depend how much above or below sea level. Water at sea level will boil at 100 degrees Celsius, but let's say if it was up a very tall mountain, it might boil just below 100 degrees Celsius. If it was below sea level, it might boil above 100 degrees Celsius. So you can't rely on a temperature probe to tell the kettle when it gets to 100 degrees to shut off, because up a very tall mountain it might be boiling at 99, in an extreme example, 99 degrees Celsius, in which case then the probe would never tell the kettle to turn off and it would just boil, boil, boil. Likewise, if it was below sea level, then it might never get to boiling, because the probe would shut off at 100 degrees Celsius, yet it needs to get to 101 degrees Celsius to actually boil. So you can't rely on that method. Also, the temperature probe might not be accurate. It might be accurate within a few degrees, which is not good enough for a kettle. So they rely on this vapour tube, because then it doesn't really matter what the kettle boils at. When it's boiling, it will produce steam, vapour, and then it will go down that tube, and then it's the bimetallic switches that actually do it. So it's quite mechanical. With a bimetallic switch, you have two different metals, and one will contract quicker than the other. And the one that contracts or expands, let's say, more than the other, it's going to cause the metals to bend, because one isn't expanding and one is expanding, or one might be expanding more than the other, in which case then, because they're stuck together, it will cause the metal to bend. Obviously, because it's super thin. If the metals were like an inch thick, probably wouldn't do anything. But because they're super thin, it causes them to flex. And it's that flexing at a certain temperature that causes the switches to pop and then cut power to the kettle. So in this one here, there's definitely at least two switches, one for the live, one for the neutral. There might also be another switch bimetallic switch underneath this actual switch of the kettle as well. Not too sure, but there's definitely at least two. So it's really interesting how it works and how reliable it works, because this one has two. You're never going to be in a position where both are going to fail at the same time. So if one fails, it's still not going to burn your house down, because it's then not working. While if you were just to rely on one, then maybe it could boil and boil and boil and boil. But by having two, then it's highly unlikely both are going to fail at the same time. So you're going to throw away the kettle as soon as one stops working, because your kettle doesn't work. So yeah, really, really interesting. Learned a lot in this one here. So now we're going to turn our attention to the base. The base is really very boring. I'm just going to be gluing it with super glue, and then I'm going to be putting epoxy everywhere to give it a bit of strength. Epoxy is like a two-part glue that you mix together. Chemically, it's going to go off within about 5 minutes. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't give this away to anybody. This is going to be used by me and my family, who's going to be aware of the problem. So they're not going to be mistreating it. So I think this kettle will work fine, just fine in my household. So basically, I'm just gluing up the base now. There's nothing to see here. There's nothing interesting. The base was the problem all along, but I'm just gluing it back together. There's not a huge amount of missing plastic, so it's going to be quite sealed. Let me just show you it now when it's all been glued up, and then we're going to pop it in the kitchen and see if it is actually working. Okay, so I super glued all the broken bits, and then I've put epoxy all over the cracks. So I'm hoping it may, and I've lined it up perfectly. So I'm hoping now, once it sets, it will be okay. Again, just for my use. And now it should do that switch in. In fact, I think I can hear it. Hold on. Listen. And maybe not. Well, let's do this here and see if it goes down. There you go. Can you see the switch goes down now? Yeah. There. It didn't do that before. Right. I'll come back to this probably in about 45 minutes or so, and then we'll see if we can boil the kettle. Okay. The glue looks like it's gone hard. It doesn't look great, but it looks okay from the top. So I'm going to plug it in now, and we'll see what's going to happen with it. So let's fill this up with water.
Right, it's just over half a litre there. Let's see if it's going to work. Looks promising already. So you can see the scale. We have such hard water in the area that my wife cleans these about once every 2 months, and it will be immaculate when it's cleaned, but then within a few weeks it starts getting like this again. Check it out. So because of that vapor tube, if I was to open this up now, I don't think it would ever turn off unless the other two would kick in at the bottom, and then it might stop boiling, because the vapor's going out here rather than going down the tube. And interestingly, looking around here now, I'm looking at my kitchen, that's been a repair. This I bought to be repaired because one side didn't go down, but it's working fine. This was a repair. So basically my whole kitchen's being taken over with repairs. This one, I think I bought that as a repair as well, but it just had missing parts, so I just had to buy a few parts for that. There you go, I can see steam coming out. Is it going to turn itself off? So it's getting quieter. I'd be expecting it to turn off now. Come on. Yes, I was getting worried there, it started to rock. Okay, I don't know if that turned off a little bit late or not, but it turned off. And you can see all the steam there, hopefully. Now what happens if I put it straight back on? Excellent. Well, look, it's working right now. I think what will probably happen is, I think people will end up whacking this on there, and I think it will probably break quite easy. But I'm going to empty the water out of this one. I'm going to put that one up in the attic for a bit, and I'm going to use this one because it looks nice and clean. So that's it. Is it a fix? No, because this bottom part isn't really properly fixed, is it? It's just glued back together. But for me, I fully understand now how a kettle like this works. I've actually got another kettle to fix, so I think that's going to be a lot easier. And if you already know how it works, I'm sure the video for you has been very boring, but there's going to be some of you out there watching this, like me, that didn't know how it works. And now you know it works via a vapor tube and stuff. It's actually very interesting, especially with those bimetallic clips. So yeah, I didn't need to take this apart. There was nothing wrong with the kettle. It was just a base. But it was interesting for me that there's a little safety thing there, that it has to be on the base for this to go down. So if I was to do this now, this won't go down. And I bet that's the same on pretty much all modern kettles. So again, something to look out for when you're repairing one. I really enjoyed that one. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching.